Subscribe or they will haunt you. What hobby does not get more expensive the more you dive into it? Drawing. I use a pencil, a pen, and a sketchbook. It's possible to make drawing more expensive. Better pens cost money, colored pencils cost money, digital art supplies cost money. But it's not necessary to buy those things in order to enjoy drawing. Crying. Cycling in theory. Buy a bike and only have to pay for minor maintenance, while increasing fitness levels and happiness. However, one will quickly realize that the proper number of bikes to own is n+1, where n is the current number of bikes owned. Commuter bike, touring bike, race bike, full suspension trail bike, hardtail trail bike, aggressive hardtail trail bike, freestyle/jump bike, fat bike, and a BMX for shits and giggles. Pixel art. Unlike other graphic design methods where you might need expensive software like Photoshop or Illustrator, you can use Manuscript Paint or a variety of free software, even for animation. It's a great hobby because the pixels limit where you can place them, finite number of combinations and such, and refining techniques with color palettes, lighting, blending, etc. There is so much you can do. Stay away from Warhammer 40k. You'll start with once I have my area set up and my paints, it's not so bad. Then one day you'll look at your army and realize that while Raven Guard is great, you really want to try an Elder army. Eventually you'll feel like you went through the warp without a Jellifield. Your favorite army weren't included in the updated rules. Gardening, writing, listening to music, meditation, walking, sketching, reading books/comics at the library. Reading. Library is free and there are always cheap books at garage sales, thrift shops, etc. Computer programming. Python is free. The modules are free. New modules keep coming out and getting better, for free. Plenty of resources out there. YouTube, automatathebringstuff.com are free. A hobby that changes the way you see the world and adds another method of problem solving. It gets you exposed to all kinds of other fields. Also, it could land you a work from home job making great money or save you time on completing repetitive boring tasks. Learning Python gets you a huge head start on learning other languages as well, but Python can be used for a whole project. It's vast. Exercising/running. You only need to buy a good pair of shoes and some workout clothes and you'll be set for a while. Edit. Okay, my bad. Exercising is expensive. Sorry. I feel like everyone commenting is a marathoner or some other long distance runner, which at that point is more enthusiast than hobby. Most people running for general fitness are probably not doing more than 20 miles a week. And if you're just going out to run a few miles throughout the week and the occasional 5-10k, then running is cheap. You might not even buy 2 pairs of shoes a year. Beyond that, people just need to have the appropriate clothes, a stick of Body Glide, and maybe a water bottle. Collecting buckets. I have 7 buckets. The 4th one is also dark blue. That really depends on how long your bucket list is. I think I'd rather get rickrolled than read that again. Skateboarding. It's very cheap so far. I do recommend buying a good quality board, not something from Walmart. But I've gotten a lot out of this board, and when I break the board, instead of paying another $140 for a whole new complete, I just have to buy a new deck for $30 to $65, and so on for the rest of the parts. Edit. Just wanted to add to this how much I've loved skateboarding since I started a couple months ago. I never thought I would do something like it, and I used to have horrible balance. But with some work my balance has become better than I could have dreamed, and I've had a ton of fun. All of my friends are starting now. Dumpster diving. Thanks to everyone for helping me realize how expensive all my hobbies are. Weightlifting. Average person would even save a ton of money by fixing their diet as a side effect. Disc golf. It's really fun, and you can buy discs for like $10 and that's pretty much all you need. Can't believe I had to get all the way down here to find this. Disc golf cost me about $30 to $50 for the first 3 years. I just used the same discs, was gifted some. And even when I did decide to get more discs, it's incredibly reasonably priced. That and most courses have free access. Great sport. Gardening. If anything, it becomes virtually free after a few harvests, because you can take the seeds out of the vegetables you just picked and replant them. Plus you already have free compost from the remaining plant matter / peels, etc. you picked. If you play your cards right while there is an initial investment, it'll pay for itself in the end. Daydreaming. Daydreaming is fun. Then you write it down, and then you have a story. Not a good one, but it's a story. Searches through comments to find a new hobby. Edit. Thanks for the do nothing award. I'll continue doing nothing. Edit. 2. Platinum. You are way too kind, stranger. Thank you. Hiking. I love getting lost in outdoor spaces. It inspires my creative work and is generally free. Meditation. Haha, one of the cheapest hobbies. But people manage to spend money on this too. Joining expensive courses, buying aesthetics like expensive candles, mats, etc. Going on meditation retreats in high-end resorts in exotic locations. Regardless of your hobby, the cost is inversely proportional to your self-control. The more self-control you have, the cheaper the hobby is. Game development. Unity is free, Visual Studio is free, Blender is free, Sprite is $20, but also not necessary, but highly recommended. It's a really fun hobby that doesn't have to cost anything, if you don't want it to. Stick collecting. No joke. It sounds dumb at first, but once you get a few solid sticks, you'll start to love it. You should see my arsenal. Alright dude, you can't tease us like this, show us your stick collection. Writing. It may even happen that by diving into it, you could earn something. It takes a certain amount of conscious effort to keep prices down though. Knowing that you don't need a fancy computer to run a word processor. You do not need a Mac when a Chromebook or lower end PC will suffice. Nowadays, a Bluetooth keyboard for your smartphone will also work. Knowing that Google Docs and OpenOffice are free, and that you don't need to shell out money for Manuscript, Word or Scrivener. Knowing that you do not need to pay for illustrations, unless you're ready to sell to a publisher. Knowing the difference between actual publishing and vanity publishing. Knowing that you need neither the best keyboard nor the best chair to write. Not spending money on writing related tchotchkes. Knowing that you do not need to pay for feedback. The internet will gladly give it for free. Realizing that if your story is compelling enough, you don't actually need coffee. I started a podcast as a hobby with 2 friends that moved to different countries in 2018, and we are still going strong. We talk about different topics every couple of weeks and it's very fun. The only expense we have is the host website, but we only pay because we have uploaded many episodes and needed more cloud space, but it's still very cheap in comparison to other hobbies. Chess. Easy to learn, difficult to master. Resources to learn are freely available on the internet, and it is gaining quite a bit of popularity on streaming websites over the last few months. Edit. If someone new or any beginner want to learn chess, I would love to teach. Feel free to DM. Also, if you are really interested, please head over to r/chess. Edit 2. My inbox is inundated with replies, and it makes me really happy that a simple comment made so many people interested in chess. If you need any help, please include your chess.com or chess.org ID or both. Register if new, so that it will be easier to communicate. Edit 3. Going to bed. Will reply in a few hours. Keep up the chess hype everyone, and also the cheese hype. Loads of people misreading the first word, lol. Playing cards. As long as those aren't Magic, the Gathering cards. Cross stitch / embroidery. It's fairly cheap in general, but once you have a few sets in, you have a wide variety of colors to do your own. Eater. Whoa. Thanks for the silver. My first. Wood crafting. That's pretty much the entire point. Note, wood crafting should be practiced mindfully, with sustainability in mind. Take only what you need, leave enough for the plants and animals to live well and reproduce. Abundance is there, but only if we don't harm it. Oddly enough, lasso making. Depending on the style of lace you're doing, the initial cost of tools can be fairly steep, or super cheap. Some styles require a needle. Just a needle. But once you've got the equipment, you're only ever required to buy thread and maybe pins or paper. Okay, pattern books, but if you're even a little bit creative, you've got that covered. Source, used to make lace. Over the course of 15 years, I spent maybe $200. Not $200 a year. $200 spread over 15 years. And most of that was because I wanted specialty threads, like handspun linen, etc. Magnet fishing. All you need is a strong magnet and some rope really, and maybe a few other things like gloves. Might even find something valuable one day if you're exceedingly lucky. I pulled a gun out of a local river. Explaining magnet fishing to a cop you called on yourself is an interesting conversation. Collecting rocks that you find. Lockpicking. That actually makes more money if you're fast enough.